everybody, Bobby here, and today we're taking a look at the MAFEX Amazing Spider-Man comic book version. I kind of bought this guy last minute. It was on Big Bad Toy Store, sold out for so long. I was like, all right. It's a figure. It's like $100, so I'm like, never mind. But the design of it being so 90s looking, I had to get it. And there was one pre-order put back on there, and I had to snag this guy, and I did. Whew, the box. Just get in the box so I can get into this guy. The insert is a very animated looking building. Can't take it out, but looks, well, I wish I could. It looks really nice. But you have the Amazing Spider-Man comic book version, action figure, MAFEX, MEDICOM toys, Double Trouble. I don't think Spider-Man ever said that, but it's got some very McFarlane or Campbell looking art. Very comic book looking too, so that's really cool. And you have the art that the figure is based on kind of etched in there. On the top you have a very classic looking Spider-Man logo and a very 90s looking Spider-Man logo with the Amazing Spider-Man, Marvel. On the side it's the Amazing Spider-Man with the figure in a wall crawling pose. On this side you have the very classic looking Spider-Man logo on the bottom and the 90s looking one at the top. And you have a very nice posed version. You have the nice figure posed here, saying MAFEX, number 75. On the bottom, some legal stuff that you can't read because it's in Japanese. Except over here, it is more adult collectible, not a toy. Recommended for the age 15 and up. Understandable. On the back, we get to see some of the features. He comes with all this and few other things. Alright, so let's get this guy ready to be reviewed, shall we? Alright, so with this guy out of the box, I think we should just dive into his accessories and then we'll go from there. So a lot of the reasons why people bought this guy is because he looks very 90s looking Spider-Man comic book art. Specifically, everybody wanted this guy because he looked very McFarlane Spider-Man. And I had to regretfully agree with people that it's not really McFarlane. You want to call it McFarlane just like you call the other McFarlane Spider-Man that was made by Toy Biz from the Spider-Man Classics line. You can, I guess, don't really matter. They actually looked similar. I used to have that figure. But as a kid, playing with it, his fingers, they snapped off, his paint chipped, and finally his head snapped off. And I still have it somewhere, the broken pieces of it at least, but I didn't really want to pull that corpse out of its coffin to show it off here. But I do have an interesting thing that this guy kind of resembles too. We'll talk about that later. This is the head it comes with outside of the box. Very wide-eyed looking, very Jason Scott Campbell, I believe that says. I don't know much about Spider-Man artists back then or any. I do like comics. I do read an occasional comic. I do know a little, well, I don't say a little. I know a moderate of stuff about comics. So when it comes to, artists and writers and pencilists and stuff like that, I don't really know much about that. I know the basics of Stan Lee and stuff like that. I can't really tell you. I know all that. I can't even tell you who is the chief and editor of Marvel at this time. I couldn't. But what I can tell you is that this head looks really great. This is probably my favorite head out of this set. I really like it. I like the big wide-eyed Spider-Man. It's just really intriguing to me because usually in the cartoons, Spider-Man has these small little beady eyes. And that's fine. It's very Steve Ditko. Well, was it Ditko or was it? It wasn't Steve Ditko, was it? I think it was that helped the design Spider-Man with Stan Lee. If I'm wrong, if it wasn't Steve Ditko, then it was I don't. It wasn't Jack Kirby. No, it was Steve Ditko. Yeah, and he's the one that made those very smaller eyes. So. And that's fine too, very classic looking, but I like the big eyes better. You have this head, which is, I believe, a different artist rendition of Spider-Man, but this one looks very angry looking. You know, just his eyes are a little bit smaller, so it looks like he's kind of got that I'm kind of angry looking face. So that's okay. You want a more pissed off looking Spider-Man? You can. And it's really simple to switch heads. And I like how the head also has like it's part of the mask dip to it as well. So that's cool. It's really easy to pose this guy. It's really satisfying posing this guy. Now the next head is actually on another neck joint, so we're going to have to take this neck out. I've heard a lot of people say it's really difficult, and also the little ball pin here, that's kind of tilted. It is supposed to be that way. I've seen other reviewers talk about it. It's on all theirs, so you got to get a good grip on this neck. But I've heard a lot of people say it's a little tough. It's more of a tough way to get a good grip to pull it. It's not really hard to pull it off. It's just you got to get a good grip on it. And it is a little tough to do that. At least on camera. I could probably switch this thing pretty easily off camera. But I will say that the neck, at least the red on the red costume part of the neck, is a little brighter than the rest of the costume. So that's a little weird. You cannot see it on camera. So it doesn't look too bad. And it's not really bad in reality anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But the head, the Peter Parker head, is very 90s looking with the bangs and all. So that's definitely cool. I will say that his head isn't as articulated as the other heads on their neck joint. But the neck is really articulated, so don't worry about it. And it can move, but, you know. But the head's got like that mullet looking. It's not really a mullet, but it's not short hair. I guess it's a mullet, or at least a small mullet. I can't really tell. We've got these bangs, very, very big bangs, very, very big bangs on his head. I'm gonna go ahead and take this head off so you can get a better look at it. Maybe it can help. Very good looking hair. Not a bad head sculpt. Very pale looking, but not bad. Not bad for a 90s rendition of Peter Parker. The next thing, which I'm going to go ahead and show, is that he comes with this little bitty little mask you can pose him with his Peter Parker head sculpt. Now, I will say this mask is a little small. Maybe fits more in the Marvel Universe 3 3/4 inch line head. I definitely think that would fit better with this. But if you want to say it's a stretchy material, you can go and say that. But he looks good with it. This is the best hands, his more relaxed hands he comes packaged with. That one holds it the best. There's another set of hands we'll get into later that kind of holds it alright too. But I think this one holds it better. So yeah, that looks nice. Speaking of hands, we're going to go ahead and take this out and put back the costume neck and give ourselves a... We're going to flip that and move that back to where it belongs. There we go. And we're going to put my favorite head back on. Just like that. I'm starting to sound like Bob Ross. Alright, so hands. What does he come with? These are my more favorite hands, again, in more action poses. He has these more these more wide hands here. So that's really nice. I like these hands. You can get them in more classic looking poses. We'll get them in a second. And these hands they're not loose coming off, but they're not. The other hands have a more tighter fit than these, but they're not gonna. You put these on, you shake it around, it's not gonna fall out. It's just easier to take out. That's just something I should note. And I've heard other people's are a little worse because they've their hands they will fall out by shaking. And I even heard reports of these pegs snapping. So this is a very delicate figure. Be careful. And I've heard a lot of MAFEX figures breaking. I don't have any MAFEX figures to compare this with, by the way. I don't collect MAFEX. I only got this guy because he's very 90s Spider-Man looking. So I really like him. He's really, that's why I got him. I may get the 90s Venom one they're doing too. There is a Venom to go along with this guy. And I might get him. I'll definitely get a McFarlane Black Suit Spider-Man if they come out with one for this. That's a definite grab. I will definitely get that if they make it. There's also a Miles Morales one if you want it. They all are, at least on Big Bad, Miles is sold out. This one's also sold out last time I checked. And Venom isn't, so if you're going to get Venom, I'd go ahead and hurry up and pick him up. But they all reach around the $95 to $100 range. I paid about $105 with tax and shipping altogether. About $105 for this guy, so he is pretty high priced. I probably would say that, is it worth the money? Well, I buy action figures, so yes, it's worth it, but it just depends on if it's worth it to you. Getting back to the hands, this kind of has like a little thing right here, so be careful with the hips. I've heard the hips breaking too. At least on other MAFEX. This one, I haven't really heard the hips breaking on this guy yet, but I don't want to be the first one to have that issue. But you can get him in some really good poses. You just gotta finagle it. But I like these hands because you can get him in classic Spider-Man poses, like him on the ground. Like he just did a superhero landing. More, he's like about to get into a fight. The hips do come out pretty easily. They do fall out. It's not. I'm gonna do this off camera. I don't trust myself not breaking this guy. There we go. You gotta be careful. And I think that's one of the reasons why when you're posing it, the legs will pop out. It does that so it won't break. So that's I appreciate that. I don't want this guy breaking at all, but you can get him in good poses. Yeah. We're just not talking about breaking him. So, getting into other hands, we're just gonna... Oh, by the way, this is his MAFEX stand. It's very bland. Similar to a McFarlane, a MEDICOM stand. It's clear plastic. It's like any other clear stand, really. But it's got the hand, or the little claw here. It's got bend. A joint here, a joint there, a joint there, and this moves. And it can swivel, so can the hand here. I've heard a lot of MAFEX stands breaking, so I really don't care about the stand that much, so it doesn't really matter to me. But we'll go ahead and get into, let's see, we'll go ahead and get into the fists. And as I put these on, I'm going to be careful with it. And I'm going to show off the other hands real quick in a little more detail for you guys, for those who like the detail. Here's the more relaxed hands. We'll go ahead and stick them in this little web. That way I can... well, it's not going to really help it, is it? No. Alright. So here's the hand. It's got some shading on it, so that's cool. Very thin hands. But that's okay. Marvel Legends, which I'm starting to kind of get back into collecting again, they kind of have big hands and feet that are really as proportionate as this guy's hands and feet are, so that's okay. And here's his more wide hands. I would say these are wall crawler hands, wall climbing hands, but we have a separate pair of hands just for that. Alright, so the fists. The fists are nicely detailed, you know, it's a fist. What else do you expect? He's ready to punch somebody. Which I kind of wish, you know, I know they do this with Deadpool a lot, with those figures, but I would like to see some comic book panel like text, like pow and boom and ka-ka-ka-boom and ka-kazam and crack-ka-ka-coom and some sound effect pieces. That would be really cool. I would love that to come out with some characters. That's just cool looking. But the fists, yeah, they're pretty good. You know, you can... Hey, Rocky, you wanna go? Kind of pose, you know. He's ready to fight. You know, good poses there. Comes with a lot of hands. Here's his fists. All right. So go into his. I like to call these the thumbs up hands. I'm gonna go and do this off camera because I do not want these pegs to snap. They're very thin pegs. And the hands are a little tight putting these in. And plus they're so small, it's a little tough. But, and there we go. I like to call these hands the thumbs up hands. The A. But we'll go ahead and show the web accessories, the two that these go with. These hands are for holding stuff, so he holds these webs. So this one's more, like I said, he's web swinging, so what I like to do is I like to tuck it behind the thumb. That has a better grip. So it kind of looks like you can web swing a little bit with that. You know? We'll get into better poses later on, but this is just to demonstrate. And he also has this web, which is more of a he's webbing onto something pose. And the MAFEX stand has another piece that I actually almost lost and almost wasn't in this video. Thank God I found it. So there's a little peg here that you can plug into the MAFEX stand. And what it does is that you can get this. There's a little hole in this web that you can peg into the MAFEX stand. That way it looks like Spider-Man's grabbing onto something. That looks good, I guess. I mean, I won't ever pose it like this, but it does it well enough to where it works. And the hand, it does stay in the hand good, so it's not going to fall out. I wouldn't trust it enough to where you have this thing sticking out and this pegged in Spider-Man hanging off of it, but it works. But back to the mask, this little bump right here on the top of the mask, you can kind of wedge it into his hand there. So that works too. And it fits decently. We got the next pair of hands, but first we'll just take a look at these thumbs. I like that the thumbs stick out. It's really cool. I like doing the thumbs up poses with these kind of figures. Yeah, they look nice. Alright. Well, let's get into the more important hands that Spider-Man could ever come with. His web shooting hands. Let's go ahead and show those off real quick. Very small fingers, very pointy looking. Very good sculpt too. Really good. Okay, and then we'll just stick these on. There we go. The joints in the hands are very much similar to the Mezco ones, but they're a lot more thinner. So that's why I say be careful with these when you're putting these hands on, and also moving them around. You don't want to snap them. I think they'll be a little difficult to replace or to fix, especially with this guy being so expensive. Okay, what way is the peg? And we'll talk more about that when we get an articulation. So you can get some web posings and some web slinging posing there, some web shooting poses there, or the rock on pose. Well, that's not really the rock on pose. That's more the I love you pose. I made that mistake when I met Tom Savini. I was doing these poses because I was thinking it was rock on thing, but no. But yeah, they look nice, and there he goes. You take these hands off. He has these two, he's got four. He's got two long webs that you can put in like so. I'll put one of the longer ones in. Like so. You just slide it in kind of like the Mezco. It is similar to the Mezco Spider-Mans. And we'll compare them later. Well, you want to go upward because it's not the symbiote Spider-Man. So it is a little loose in there, but it does the job of looking like he's shooting a web. He just has like this little white bracelet over him, but he also comes with two short webs too. And I just drew one. So I'll just peg this out, make sure it's sitting the right way, stick that in there, at the top, and peg this in like so. So you can have him shooting a short or a long web. And you're probably wondering, is the Mezco one compatible? Mezco webs? I don't know. I haven't checked, but we will in this video. We'll go ahead and take these hands away. Getting into the feet, he has these more normal feet, and he has toe articulation. But he does come with another pair of feet. We're gonna go ahead and pull these out. you're going to want to pull forwards. Don't pull down, pull forwards. Okay? I'm going to do this one off screen. Pull forwards. Don't pull down. Don't want it snapping. Because it comes with 2 pairs of feet, 2 pair of hands with these magnets. Alright. I'm going to peg these in. I'm just trying to be as careful as possible with this guy. Because the worst thing you can do is break something during review. Well, break something in general. What I like about this figure, or about these magnetic feet, is that, come on, it's not wanting to get in there. Well, I think I got it in there as good as I'm going to get it. They look normal enough. Is that they also had toe articulation. One of them was a little, the only complaint about it is I had one that was a little stiff that almost broke. I had to get the hair dryer out to fix that. But yeah, it was a little stiff. Kind of made me think that the joints weren't supposed to move on those toes, but they do move, so that's cool. Not that it really matters. But yeah, he has these magnets. And we're going to go ahead and use the lamp as a comparison. Well, as a comparison, as our little test to see how strong these magnets are. And they're strong. I tried to get the Spider-Man to I wanted it to hang upside down. And I couldn't get it to hang upside down, unfortunately. I almost got to it. Almost did it. I almost got it to hang upside down. And it just didn't work. They kept falling down. Which that kind of sucks, but it happens. We'll go ahead and pull our camera out from our base and hip. Spidey looks pretty good. He hangs there pretty good. He's not even using all the magnets. You don't have to use all the magnets. No, you might want to use 3 at least. And this is only one of the magnets in the toes, not even the bottom one. He's not even using all the magnets. It works pretty good. Alright, so let's get into articulation. And before you're wondering about the hands, I know the last review I wore gloves. For this figure, I can't really wear the gloves because it's kind of hard to do this review with those big gloves. So that was kind of a bad idea with that Godzilla. I'm sorry if it got in the way of that. But, you know, my cat's very playful. And it looks like it doesn't look pleasant, and it's very painful. But she is a young kitten, so I can't really blame her. Alright, articulation on MAFEX Amazing Spider-Man. Comic book version, that is. Head without the neck. Goes up about that much. Goes up about that much. Goes down about not much at all. With the neck, it goes up about that much and down about that much. Alright. And it goes all the way around. They're both on ball joints because it can also tilt fairly good. But there's a little gappage in the neck, so and both parts could go all the way around. But we're not going to do that. God dang it, board. Okay. He's got this beautiful butterfly joint that goes up. Not just the arm itself, not the shoulder, but the butterfly joint goes up, it goes down, it goes in, it goes out. The shoulder goes out about that much, goes down about, in about that much, goes all the way around. He's got a swivel in the upper arm, double jointed elbow, hides all the joints pretty much except for in the hands and the feet, but that's okay. He's got the Mezco styled hands that go up about that, goes up, down, swivels, and it can go in and it can go left to right. And it swivels from ball to joint in the hand. Ball jointed upper torso, so it goes out up about that much, and it has a big gap, which you can kind of trick it and go down a little bit. You can go in about that much, and it goes all the way around, and it's got some tilt. The lower one goes in about that much, out about that much, tilts, and you can have Spider-Man tilt that much with both joints. His legs are interesting, similar to the Mezco Iron Man. He's got a drop-down joint, but his is a little more extreme. He's also got a swivel in the hip. His legs go out, go up about that much with that joint. It goes back. God dang it, ball joint. Well, I'd rather you go out than break. Let me put that back in. Let me put that back in. And does a splits about that much. So that's cool. Yeah. Alright, so getting into the knees, he got double jointed knees. Feet goes up about that much, goes down about that much. Has an ankle pivot. It goes about that much. It's more or less you're swiveling the joint because it's similar to the hands. So you're kind of faking it, but doesn't really matter. And toe articulation on both the magnetic feet and the normal feet. So that's really cool. Like I said, you can get this Spider-Man in all sorts of poses. So, yeah. Alright, let's go ahead and dive on into some comparisons with other Spider-Man and other Marvel figures I have in my collection that I can pose this guy with, shall we? So, this is the MAFEX Spider-Man compared to some Marvel Legends I have in my collection. This isn't all of them, but this is a good proportion of different characters I have. The Puck series is seen Wolverine, I believe that's what that is. We have the vintage Captain America, and we have the Toy Biz Face-Off Hulk. And I think Spider-Man fits good with them. His hands and feet are, like I said, smaller compared to the Marvel Legend characters, so but it can be finagled in there, I guess you could say. If you're wondering, yes, this is the Mezco cap shield straps. I put them on this cap because I think it looks pretty good. But yeah, so they fit, and I'm gonna be getting a lot more Marvel Legends, and I might be reviewing some on the channel when I get them. If you guys want, I might start doing some Marvel Legends on the channel. But I think he looks good with all these guys. And I can't wait to collect more Marvel Legends that go along with him. So yeah, this guy technically got me back into collecting Marvel Legends, believe it or not. What do you think about that? Here he is compared to some more modern Marvel Legend figures I have. Well, I say modern. These are not really modern, but these are very crappy Spider-Man figures. I don't really like these, but we have the Big Time Spider-Man and the Kane Scott Spider figure, which are the same figures, just different paints. I hate these figures, and I got them in I got this guy in my fodder bin for a custom. I want to make a custom figure out of him someday. I don't think he's worth anything, so it don't matter. He's not worth nothing to me. But is, I guess he compares alright, except for the hands and the feet. This is a good comparison to the hands and the feet situation I was talking about. These hands and feet are just so big, too big for these guys. And the articulation isn't the best either, in my opinion. That's just me. And the paint on this guy ain't the best. This one's paint's pretty good, actually. But, yeah, let's just throw these away, shall we? Here he is compared to a couple of other Spider-Mans I have, like the Miles Morales and the... I don't know what that is. I just got him at a flea market, Spider-Man. And these are, Hasbro and Toy Biz, like I said. We're going to just toss these out of the way, because I got... Something else I want to compare to is the... I think this is a Spider-Man Classic, Spider-Man Screenshot Spider-Man, or Photoshop Spider-Man, or I don't know, Photographer Spider-Man, or whatever you called him. He's like the steroid Spider-Man. They're about the same size, different proportions, obviously. I can't get him to stand right, though. His torso is very loose, so... It's not going to stand, but the one thing I wanted to compare him to, because a lot of people are comparing him towards these figures, an original Spider-Man Classics figure. Now, I got some loose joints on this guy, so he's not going to stand well, but a lot of people were liking the Spider-Man Classics. Oh, I can get him to stand, alrighty. But a lot of people were comparing this guy towards the original Classics, so why not go ahead and do that? So yeah, I've had a few classics, original classics. I had this one. I had this battle damaged one. I still do somewhere. I used to have the Venom, but he's gone. I think I sold him, and I've seen a few other ones too out there, like the Daredevil and stuff like that. So these, I think these guys are, I don't think they're the rarest figures, but they are very, these are the ones that started the Spider-Man Classics and the Marvel Legends stuff. So if we didn't have this guy, we wouldn't have as many articulated figures these days. Well, that might be a lie. We might have, but this was the start of at least for the Marvel side. Unfortunately, he's a little loose. There's a peg in there that broke inside of him. He's a little beat up. Paint-wise, not as much. He's got good paint still, but still, he's a little wear and tear. But, you like your Spider-Man figures. Does he compare well? I mean, he looks similar to him. So I think it's cool looking at he kind of resembles an original Spider-Man Classic, so that's cool. But we're going to go ahead and put him back in the storage unit. The storage unit. Yeah, there's a storage unit. We're going to put this Venom figure out with him. If you want to compare him to any Venom figures, this is probably the best one I have I have in hand that will work decently with him, and it looks okay. I would say, I did add some paint on the eyes and on his fingers. Also on the back, I kind of fixed that little hole that was in his back, because this used to be the McFarlane, the Mac Gargan Venom. Because he had like the red eyes and the scorpion tail on the back. I customized it to look more like Eddie Brock because of the way the spider logo is. And if you want to get a little bit more weird, different with the comparisons, here he is with the Marvel Select Venom. He's a little too big unless you like your Venom Godzilla sized. Then probably not the best. Here he is to my custom Marvel Legends Carnage figure. If I can get him posed in a good way. He's got hair sticking on him. God dang it. he looks alright. I think this figure's a little too big for him. Like I said, this was more made to fit with that Marvel Select Venom. So I'm gonna get another Carnage figure to go along with the Spider-Man. Unless MAFEX makes a Carnage figure to go along with it, that'd be cool. So bringing back in the Captain America to go along with this comparison, we have the MEDICOM Iron Man, and he looks good to me. I mean, Spider-Man isn't supposed to be like this giant character. That's why the MEDICOM Spider-Man isn't the best, because his size is kind of what ruins him. Even the Black Suit Spider-Man I say that the Black Suit MEDICOM Spider-Man is the best Black Suit Spider-Man, articulation-wise, yeah. But size-wise, he just doesn't compare to anything except for the other MEDICOM Spider-Man, which is a shame. Because he's like almost the same size as Iron Man. This Spider-Man, I think he's pretty good in the way his size is, so he fits in with all these guys. At least, well, with his hands and feet being so small, at least with Iron Man, he's got a suit of armor, but Cap and the others have so big hands and feet. It's a little weird, but it fits. It's a comic book. Doesn't really matter. But yeah, they work great, and I'm surprised that this Iron Man fits in so well with Marvel Legends. It's one of the reasons why I'm collecting Marvel Legends again. But yeah, this Iron Man fits well with these guys. It looks kind of like an Avengers lineup. And compared to the MEDICOM Spider-Mans, and yeah, they are a little big. So, it's a little weird that they're freakishly tall, but they're still good figures to pick up, including this guy. But the real question is, does the MEDICOM webs work with the MAFEX? If you're interested in that, well, I am glad to inform you that yes, indeed, they work. I'm going to do this off panel, or I'm going to try to, because I'll try to do this here, but it's going to have the same effect as the other webs with the Spider-Man. It's going to have like a white bracelet still, kinda. You can kind of hide it, so it works. But yeah, it does fit on there. It might make your hands stick out a little more, but yeah, it fits. Plus, the web doesn't really stick out. There we go. Yeah, but it kind of wants to lean that way. You're going to have to swivel it around to make it look good. But yeah, it works. The next question is, does the longer web work, the wired web? Well, it does. We have our web swing hand. We have our wired web. All you gotta do is peg out this big web ball out, slide this in. It slides in tightly, so it does fit pretty snug in there. Peg this back in so it can't fall out. And yeah, it works. So just go ahead and peg this in. It might be a little top heavy though. That's why you get your MAFEX stand out. So we're going to go ahead and put this guy in a nice little pose. Like so. This MAFEX stand's a little loose, I gotta say. I might have to take a screwdriver and later and tighten it up. But I did tighten it up earlier, about a few days ago, and I guess it got loose again. But yeah, it does work. It works, actually, weirdly, pretty good. So if you want to use your Mezco figures or your Mezco webs, it will work. Let's just stick that up in the air like so. And make it look. Yeah, there we go. That looks pretty good. What do you guys think? Alright. Well, altogether, this MAFEX Spider-Man is pretty good. I really like posing him. In fact, I just can't stop posing him. He's so articulated, so well sculpted. It's a very definite have to pick up, at least for me. That being said, I'm going to give this guy a 9 out of 10. I'll give this guy a 9 out of 10. He fits well in Marvel Legends. He fits well with other accessories that Spider-Mans have. He's got good articulation, good sculpt. The only complaint I have about this guy is the price being so high. It kind of makes you think, should you get this? The other question is this the best Spider-Man? Well, that's up to you. If you like Spider-Man from the 90s, then yeah, this is the best Spider-Man you can pick up. If you like any Spider-Man figure, it is the best one to pick up. But if you don't like this certain design, then, well, maybe not. Then again, maybe you don't care about the design. Maybe you just care about the articulation and the accessories, which indeed it does come with some great accessories and good articulation, but it's really just up to you. It is a high price, so you could probably get a Marvel Legends Spider-Man for a lot cheaper. So that's really up to you. Me personally, am I glad I got it? Oh, definitely. It's my favorite Spider-Man of all time. But I would like it if it wasn't as much. I've heard these guys being about $40 originally. Not this one, but originally the MAFEX figures were pretty cheap. So why they've gone up in price, I have no clue. But is this guy worth about $100? Obviously, for me it was, because I paid for it. I paid that much for it, and I'm happy I got it. So it really just slides into if you want it or not. I say it's definitely worth a pickup. If you can find it, that is. I mean, you might have to go to some import figures, or you might have to pay a little more than what I did, because it's sold out in a lot of places. So good luck finding this guy. But if you do find him for a good price, go and pick him up. Alright guys, I will see you in the next video. Bobby, out!